Hola, you amazing artist, and welcome to the studio. So today I want to talk about growth. I want to talk about how it is, what is the thing that we do or think about whenever we're thinking about growing and moving to that next level. Now, this is one of those things that whether or not you're just getting started and you're going to be pushing outside of some comfort zones, or like me, you've been doing this for a while and things are new, or you want to get to that next level. Now, this is going to be one of those videos where if you're like, feelings, I don't like talking about feelings, then you might not get a lot out of this. The truth is that as an artist or just as a human being, your perspective is the most powerful thing that you have. A lot of us go through life and like our perspectives are just kind of being guided by whatever was already out there or other people's perspectives, your parents, your teachers, all that stuff. Many times we get locked into a perspective and we forget that we have a choice in how it is that we view something, whether it is the next level in your art career or just getting started and putting yourself out there. So there are certain things that I focus on in order to allow me to remind myself to focus on these things. The first thing I do, especially if I'm heading into uncharted territory, is I take a look at my own limiting beliefs. A limiting belief is basically any belief that says that you can't do this thing, that you're not good enough, that you're not qualified, that you're not smart enough, any of those things that limit you. Beyond that are limiting beliefs of, well, people in this area don't buy art, You know, it's really hard for artists to, you have those societal limiting beliefs. The fact is, the only reason that they are quote unquote true is because a bunch of people agree. People always fight for their limitations, and the one thing that I make sure that I do is that I'm not fighting for my limitation. Along with that, the other thing that I do is I challenge my own negative self-talk. Negative self-talk isn't one of those things that just happens in your own brain, inside you, but it is also the things that you say to other people. A lot of times we call it self-deprecating humor, and honestly, a lot of times you gotta watch that. You gotta watch the way that you talk about yourself to other people, or the way you describe yourself to other people, and most importantly, the way that you describe yourself to yourself. I constantly have to watch the way that I talk to myself. Like, oh, I'm so stupid, I can't do this, or this just isn't possible for me, or any of those things. Then, you're holding yourself back. And as an artist, things are going to be hard enough as it is because of limiting beliefs that exist out in the world. If you're constantly berating yourself, and if you're surrounded by naysayers, you've got no one rooting for you because you're not even rooting for yourself. It's not vain or narcissistic to root for yourself. A lot of people will get that confused because people that are insecure will tend to really try and bolster themselves. It's not about proving to other people that you're better or anything like that. There's a thin line there. So if you find yourself making yourself feel better by putting someone else down, then you know that you've veered off into a bad territory. Making yourself feel better by telling yourself, hey, it's okay, I can do this. Or like sitting there and arguing with your negative self-talk when it comes in and telling it, no, that's not true. You know what? The opposite is possible as well. Those are the things that you really want to focus on. The other thing that I've learned throughout my career, especially when it comes to creating art, is that you have to be in a place where no matter what you're doing, and if you get it done, you know what? It's good enough. Being okay with it's good enough. Perfectionism is the #1 killer of creativity. Well, that maybe not the #1 killer. That's a little dramatic, but perfectionism is not good. And it's easy to get locked into a downward spiral of perfectionism. So, hey, it's good enough. And then move on to the next project and move on to the next project. It's good enough. The other perspective that I really focus on is understanding that there is no such thing as failure. Failure is a myth. Failure is just another way of saying this thing didn't go right and I just gave up forevermore. That's basically all failure is. The truth is, if you want to look at anybody's career where they're like successful doing what they do, they failed. That career is built on a mountain of failures. The only difference is that people don't remember failures. They only remember your successes, right? You look at anybody who you consider successful and you dig a little bit deeper, you're going to see that they failed, and they failed a lot in order to get to where they are. When you're first starting, or even if you're trying to level up, everything is going to hit you hard, especially if you're like going outside of your comfort zone. You try this thing and then it doesn't work out financially, and then immediately you're like, well, it failed. And then you avoid doing that thing instead of pivoting, tweaking it, course correcting. And that brings me to the next thing that I focus on is understanding that outcomes are just stepping stones. That's all they are. Whether it goes really, really good, whether it goes really, really horrible, it's just a stepping stone, right? And it gives you the opportunity to course correct. Wow, this thing went really well. I really enjoyed that. What things in there did I enjoy? What things did I not enjoy? This thing went really horrible. What things in there did I enjoy? What things did I not enjoy? Today, everybody is so focused on analytics and looking at the analytics of this or looking at the analytics of this measurement stick, this thing. You have to look at your measured results and decide what direction am I going to take moving forward. And finally, the last thing and a really important thing that I focus on when I'm ready to level up is setting realistic goals. And I know setting realistic goals, like you got to set your SMART goals and all that stuff. It's not that. When I talk about realistic goals, I mean things that you actually have control over. A lot of people love setting financial goals. That's great if that's what you want to do. You really don't have any control over that because there are so many factors that come into play that you just don't have control over the finances that are going to come in when you are launching a new project or anything. The only thing that you could really do is set other goals that you actually have control over. If your goal depends on the action of other people around you, then it is not a realistic goal. If your goal is based on your own actions, then it is much more realistic. For example, I don't have a financial goal for my artwork. I have a numbers goal of how much artwork am I going to put out there. If you focus on the money, the moment that the money doesn't come in, you are going to get discouraged. You're going to see it as a failure. And so you might as well focus on something that you do have control on. The truth is, you want to sell art, you have to create plenty of art and you have to put it out there a lot of times. It's not one and done. You got to just put it out there and you have to build your audience, build your collector base one person at a time. That's the reality of it. There's no secret answer. There's no nothing. You got to figure out how to put your artwork out there and put it in front of people and give those people the opportunity to buy it. And before you even do that, you have to give yourself time to work on art, to create art that you're going to put out there. And the reason that this is important is because if you're not setting realistic goals, man, you're setting yourself up for discouragement right away. And that's it, you guys. That's all I have today. The other thing that I wanted to announce is that my new book that's releasing this year is actually up on my website for pre-ordering. The book is called Dear Artist, Letters from a Rogue. And this book is comprised of, over the years, I have responded to hundreds of emails and letters from you guys. So it covers everything. It covers mindset. It covers selling art, pricing your art, all that stuff. I try to be as motivational as possible whenever I respond to people, whenever I get the chance to respond to people, because, you know, we're pretty busy doing this whole art thing. I wanted to release a book because all of those emails are just sitting in my inbox and not out in the world, and I'd rather share it with you than not share it. A special edition signed copy is available for pre-order on my website, so if you're interested, go to the link, wherever the link is. I'm curious to know, because like, obviously these aren't the only things that I think about when it comes to mindset and perspective and all that stuff. What kind of things do you have to add, things that you do for yourself that really get you fired up and motivated to keep moving forward? Because, you know, that's the thing. It's like persisting through the suck is the most important, most powerful thing that you could do as an artist. So go ahead and share that in your comment section below. And thank you guys so much for watching. You guys are absolutely amazing and I totally adore you. And if you like this and you've never watched us before, go ahead and click right over here to subscribe. And yeah, I got work to do. Adios.